Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Do I normally wear these? I can't remember.
Not always.
Well, I'm wearing them today. In case you've just come in on that conversation, I was talking about my head.
Not your
phones.
underpants, like your Calvin Classics.
Yeah, not a pair of satin pantaloons that I always bring into Absolute with me. This is Frank Skinner on the Absolute Radio. Happy New Year!
Happy
podcast.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
And we're going to try something a little unique this morning. I'm with Emily and Gareth as always.
Hello.
Always on the radio. I mean, I'm not with them always.
Don't always, no.
Yeah, we're not some sort of terrible chain gang. Yeah, what we're going to do is that our regular listeners will know that Gareth began a story, a sort of family story, last year, the last show of last year on Boxing Day. There's a second instalment within today's podcast, but at the end of the podcast, and this will just be on the podcast, not on Absolute Radio. Gareth is going to complete that fabulous epic. I mean, it really is. It's like Lonesome Dove. So I'm very excited because we've never really done anything like that before.
No, it's brand new, a bonus thing.
Yeah, it's a bonus thing, exactly. The show, I thought I felt odd today. I'll be honest with you. I've got something. I don't know what it is, but I think it might be a virus.
It started very good, but a vagueness came over you at points.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but I have. I've got.
Don't be so honest, you two. I'm sick of
Okay.
it. We want people
sorry.
to listen to this.
Oh no,
goddamn thing.
I don't. I don't.
Okay, hype it up a little bit there.
No, I think I've got. I've got a sort of a virus.
It's a great show. We had Tim Key,
Tim Key
another
was on.
awkward combative interview. With a guest.
No, he was very funny. Tim
It
Key
was good.
He grew on me.
Did he? Oh, like a canker. Yeah, and there was some brilliant music which you won't be hearing on this. But no, in fact, I'm going to listen to this show because I feel so like I'm in a weird dream world in my head that I don't know what's happening. What about that?
Absolute Radio.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Nice.
So, yeah, we're back. And I want to start off with a moral dilemma.
Go on.
There's a picture in all the tabloids today of a woman, a drunken reveller in Newcastle, right? I have it in my hand here. And, that's the newspaper. See, authenticity. By the way, can I say that we are live? Because the last show we pre-recorded.
Yeah.
And we'd never done that before. Because I sort of disapprove, really, of pre-recording.
I know.
Yeah.
You're very strict about these things.
Well,
which is
you know,
very irritating.
I think then if we were pre-recording this, I wouldn't be able to talk about this woman in this morning's paper, and that's something I'm not prepared to give up. Anyway, we are live today. I listened to the show, actually, which I've never
did
done
you?
before, which was weird. My girlfriend said, come on, get up, the radio show's on. I thought, oh, my God! And then I thought, oh, no, so I've done it. And I listened to it, and God, did I laugh?
Did you?
I laughed maybe a little too much for being company. You know, some of it was at you two. Mainly it was at me. but I really properly...
Tell us something we don't know.
It's a brilliant show. I'm starting to think I'm missing out being in it. I'd rather be sitting at home listening. It's great. You guys must be having the best time ever.
So what gem have you come across in the papers?
Well, there's a woman lying in the snow...
I told them not to publish those pictures.
And she's it's a strange picture. She's got like a sort of salmon pink skirt on with a little belt, and she's lying completely drunk and semi-conscious with a leg. You're not seeing any underwear or anything. I'm not digging into the gutter for this. Well, she's not far from the gutter. And she seems to have written something in the snow, a bit Da Vinci Code, just before she blacked out. But she's wearing, what I don't get, is a sort of Jackie Onassis black veil, like what she wore at JFK's funeral. I mean, it's a strange mix of...
Oh, I've seen that picture. No, her hair's fallen... Her straightened hair has fallen over her face, I think.
So that's not a veil?
I don't know. But she is quite well styled, that woman. I know exactly the woman you're referring to.
Oh, yeah. Well, what I'm asking is it okay to think, ooh, that's a sexy picture? The fact that it's a woman who's drunk herself into unconsciousness and fallen into a snow-covered Newcastle street. Is that morally acceptable?
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
It's a bit borderline, but it is in all the papers. and there are quite a lot of legs.
Yeah, but there's a lot of pictures.
There are a lot of legs.
There's a lot of legs in the picture.
I've only found the 2 so far. It's a bit like one of those spot the difference things when you have to really, really explore it. There's about 3 or 4 legs in there if you get close enough.
And they're kind of at a disturbing, unusual angle. I think I think it's the legs at a new angle that you're finding.
Yeah,
erotic.
but I think I'm not saying it is right. I'm just occasionally you see something and you think, oh, I feel a stirring here. Should I? And I think it's good to ask people if that's all right. One that really worried me, and I really felt quite ashamed of myself.
I'm really bracing myself.
Oh, God.
Do you think I should leave? It might be a bit early in the year. No,
I dread to think.
You frightened me.
Is someone recently involved in a prison riot of some sort?
No, it was a severed head on a stick. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was. Do you remember? Oh no, I don't think I should say it. Actually.
Well, should we discuss it when the next song comes on, and we'll tell you?
No, but I remember feeling bad when I felt it. So if I bad when I felt it, even I've disapproved.
Well, your girlfriend had a go at me.
Into my own show and complain.
Your girlfriend had a go at me because I fancy Roberto Mancini.
Yes, well, I think that's fair enough.
Really? I think I just love him.
He can't even tie a football scarf, Roberto Man. You don't put 7 knots in a. He wears it so he can hardly see over it.
It's called style.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Anyway, this week's phone-in, is it okay to find the... No, it's not really this week's phone-in. I would like to know, if anyone's got their hands on a tabloid, have a look at this woman. She's lying with her legs sort of very neatly crossed, like she might be sitting reading a magazine in a hairdresser.
This week's phone-in, is the binge-drinking woman hot?
Well, not is she hot, because I don't want to question her human essence. What I'm just saying is it all right to think, ooh, sexy?
Absolute Radio.
During that, we had a discussion about whether I should mention the other thing that I thought was sexy, and apparently I shouldn't, so I won't. And also...
So the good news is we're still on air.
Yeah, we are.
Otherwise, we might not have been.
Yes. And
people will be intrigued, but honestly, just let it go. Don't worry about it.
Let's let it go now, because you're making it more and more of a thing. And also, our producer, Emma, has put the blinds down during that.
Why did she do that?
I don't like it. I feel like I'm working.
She's holding a gun to Frank's head as well, and she's really gone.
She does that most weeks.
She said it in a slightly sleazy, wife-swapping way. Shall I put the blinds down?
Yes, I thought that. Yes, I could imagine a line on a snow-covered street in Newcastle. Wouldn't be the first time.
I'm going to go as that woman to a fancy dress party. Don't think that'd be a brilliant costume?
Well, you have to take a sort of a snow carpet that you rolled up under your arm that you then lay out. And
I can be the guy in the pink T-shirt who's running towards her looking worried.
For those of you who haven't seen this picture, I can only apologise. I feel we've painted it for you in many ways. So that's on New Year's Eve she's got herself into that state. I hope she's all right. I'd love to think that she's listening now.
Oh, I'd love that.
That'd be smashing.
I might befriend her.
You can hear it through
or at least conscious at this point. That'd be nice.
Yeah, she'll be saying, well, having a go at my picture in paper. I can't believe it, but...
I didn't know what they're talking about.
Now, people now who've just tuned in will think, they've got Joe McKelvey on as the guest. That's exciting. By the way, we've got Tim Key as our guest today.
Oh, yeah. I saw him in Edinburgh. I was in Edinburgh this year.
Well, he won the big one.
Oh, yeah.
He won what's now called the Eddie, I think,
is it?
this year, which was the Edinburgh...
We called it the Perrier back in the 80s.
Edinburgh Comedy Award it was this year.
Yeah, I think they shortened it to the Eddie. Do you see? Did you see how they did that? Edinburgh.
But it was the Eddies before, but they changed it. This isn't interesting.
I don't think it was. I think it was the spot dot.
Oh, this is fascinating. Listening to you two arguing about what it's called.
Well, we can ask him. He won it. He'll know what it's called, for goodness sake.
I'm on Google as we speak.
What did you say?
I said I'm on Google as we speak.
I thought you called me a mongoose. I mean, I don't mind a bit of friendly leg pulling amongst work colleagues, but,
Don't take it personal.
You have to retain a certain amount of dignity.
I would never call you a mongoose, Frank. That would be out of order.
Okay, well, thanks for that. I feel we've healed. I have this new year. Do you remember when I said on Bonfire Night, I went round David Baddiel's house and we all stood at the window, looking through the window at other people's fireworks?
Yes, I remember that.
Well, blow me if I didn't do exactly the same thing this year. we stayed in. I wanted to go out on New Year's. And I said, let's go. I said, let's go onto a tall hill. There was me... Can
we just establish you were at mother-in-law's?
I was at my girlfriend's mum. So there's me, my girlfriend, and her sister and her boyfriend. So there's 5 of us, right? And I wanted to go out into the moon, because I don't drink. I wanted to go out into a nearby hill, because it's sort of in the countryside, and see the New Year in the moonlight, in a slightly pagan way. I thought maybe naked and covered in body paint, but not necessarily. Anyway.
Also, at this point, you will have been desperate to get out of the house, I imagine.
Well, yeah, though it was very cold. Anyway, we ended up standing at the bedroom window, looking out at other people's fireworks. Again, I've become a person who sits in a window. Look, those old age pensioners you see who just look at people walking by? That's who I am. And I'll tell you what I saw loads of. Do you know what a sky lantern is?
No.
Let me tell you! A sky lantern is a sort of paper lantern thing with a candle in it, right? And it actually floats in the sky, a light. And it was full of them. It was either full of them, or
you sure you didn't
was
have a bit of
Martian
dementia
invasion.
kicking in? I've never even seen
When
this.
you said, do you know what a sky lantern is? I thought it was just going to be like a street lamp.
A head?
A street
Do you mean a head? yeah, we hollowed out some of the locals' heads. That's the nice thing in the country. You can get people's heads, hollow them out, and put candles in, and most people are fine with it. Because a lot of them just live in trees and stuff in the countryside. They don't know. No one knows they're there. Well, you say that. I reckon now, beginning of a decade, end of this decade, they'll call the tens. Will they be called the tens? They'll call the tens probably the Sky Lantern decade.
Oh.
I think the Sky Lantern is going to absolutely take over and go crazy.
They'll be called like the teens, won't they? They'll be called.
Will they be called the teens or will they be called the tens?
Well, let's not discuss this on air.
Yeah, but we have to wait 10 years basically to find out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I think our listeners have got quite a lot of spare time, but not that much.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Frank, you fancied that drunk woman.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I said I found the pictures strangely evocative.
Alluring.
Yeah, alluring.
Well, someone's just texted in and quite wisely has remained anonymous and said, just seen the drunken picture, you have serious issues and are in desperate need of help.
That's a bit over the top, isn't it? In case you don't know, there's a picture in all the tabloids today of a woman lying, drunken woman. Well, I'm saying drunken, allegedly. She could be dead. Lying in the snow in Newcastle. If she's dead, I'll feel terrible about finding it an alluring picture, obviously. But I'm wondering if this woman is looking at herself in all the tabloids today and thinking, brilliant, this is suitable for framing.
Yeah.
Because she's, that's really great coverage she's got, even though her face is covered by
People have got their own TV shows on the strength of less, let's face it.
I think she could. It would be a great thing to have, to have framed at home. My sister, God bless her, our Nora, she used to, she kept a big scrapbook. She may still keep it, because I don't keep any of my sort of cuttings or anything. But she kept a big scrapbook of whenever I was in the paper or a magazine or stuff. And neighbours used to put it through. If there was anything in that paper, they'd put it through the letterbox so she could add it to the scrapbook. And then this has been a while back, and I don't used to think that it's a regular thing, but basically, anyway, my boyfriend, not my boyfriend.
Well, you said it was a while back.
If
and it's not a regular
anyone's
thing.
just tuned in now and switched off immediately, that's. No, but
it was a while back.
No, my brother, I was going to say. Yeah, that's a terrible Freudian slip. My boyfriend's my brother. My brother, well, anyway, he headbutted his common-law wife and she had to have 18 stitches in her head. And it was in the Sun. Frank Skinner's brother headbutts common-law wife was the headline. And the neighbours, 2 or 3 neighbours, put it through...
Oh, that was thoughtful.
Letterbox for the scrapbook.
That's always lovely. That's a nice
I mean,
thought.
I don't know if she had an appendix in the scrapbook for, family dirty washing. But anyway, I wasn't sure about that. Have we had any texts yet?
Yeah.
On 8, 12, 15?
Well, we've had one from a man. The normal
You'll have to
kind
be more
of
precise than that.
What's his name? His name's it's Graham Findlay. Finley.
Okay.
And he's the normal, but it's another man besotted with Emily, basically.
Okay.
Oh.
He says, I've been listening to the podcast, first time live. I think Emily, I've fallen in love with Emily. Her voice is wonderful, like sweet honey. She's so
Like sweet honey?
gorgeous.
Well, as opposed to that savoury honey. I like salt and vinegar honey. It's my favourite.
Emily ran away with me, all of that. And he's a photographer.
Run away with
Run
me?
away with
Yeah, he
me in
wants
those
you to
heels.
run away with
I don't run, darling.
No, I'm sure.
And he's a photographer, and we've had a look at his website, and he's offered to do a photo shoot with Emily.
Well, what sort of pictures?
Well, what we want done, Graham, is we want one in the snow.
Face down.
Legs at funny angles, well over face. Can you do that, Graham?
You've got to get on with it, because there'll be no snow. Another couple of weeks, spring will start to kick in.
That's true. Well, that's what she thought.
Yeah.
Got to get down in the snow.
Oh, I don't know about that. Well, I'll give it some thought. I mean, I only do tasteful stuff, though, mine.
Oh, yeah. I like the way... Oh, if only you'd seen the way Emily had her arms folded as she sat there. Oh, I only do tasteful stuff. Oh, how lovely.
It's like Les Dawson in a dress.
Well, it's not every... I'll tell you what I haven't had this year, thank goodness, is... what I used to get come New Year is I used to get this idea just before... Look, about the 30th of December. I used to think, what if I... really don't like being in the new year, if I don't like the next year, and I feel terribly trapped in it.
Oh, I understand that.
So I've sort of, this year I'm comfortable, and then suddenly a new year starts, and I think, so you get no, should all do, and halfway through the Auld Lang Syne I'm thinking, I don't like this year. I feel horribly estranged, and I can't breathe in this year. And then you've got like 365 or 366 if it's a leap. You've got all that if it's. And honestly, I used to get into a real fret about it.
And you're like King Canute on the beach of time.
You're like King Canute. I've always said that.
You mongoose.
Yeah, I told you. I won't have that. Yeah, I see him as more of a polecat.
Absolute Radio.
Saturday morning!
Oh, it's good to hear that again, isn't it? Okay.
Stephen Sutton has said that sounds like the soundtrack to a porn movie. That song that you just played.
Yeah, well, Stephen Sutton would know.
Yeah, not the highest selling single of the decade, that song.
No.
But what was is...
that was fabulous.
Oh, that was very Titchmarshian.
That was Titchmarshian.
You've spoilt it now.
Sorry.
You're a bunch of mongooses, the pair of you. The highest selling single of the decade was Will Young's...
Also, you just said you bunch of mongooses, the pair of you. Well, that doesn't make sense.
Well, I don't know. Pear's always been... Anyway.
Okay.
That was a mongoose impression I did there.
Really?
I don't know if you ever heard... You know when they wrestle an egg? When they wrestle an egg out of a nest, they roll on the stomach so it doesn't break. They go...
You've never seen that? When have you seen that?
Yeah, do you not watch the natural history programmes?
No, I've got ladies' programmes to watch. Anyway, carry on, Gareth.
Mongoose rolling. Chris
and Rosalie in Arbroath call people mongooses as an insult.
Do they?
They say that they feel very connected to us because of it.
That's good. We've reached across the board.
Will Young's song "Anything Is Possible" / Evergreen was the highest selling single of the decade.
Controversial billing there. You see, I'd say Evergreen was the main thing.
Really?
Well,
that's the song you think of with that single. It was a double A side.
Yeah, but
what was on the other side?
It was "Anything Is Possible."
Oh, okay.
You know "Anything Is Possible."
No, how does it go, that?
How does it go?
Anything is possible. We had this was the song we danced to at our wedding, me and Laura and I.
I'm glad you said me and Laura, because you were looking at me and I was thinking, I don't even remember dancing with him at our wedding. When was our wedding?
Frank?
What?
He had that as his song. What else did you have? Chico time?
Oh, well done.
Oh my God! What sort of wedding was it?
You mean the first song that real romantic one, which is the beginning of your married life? That one.
Well,
It's a
I get a
very
kick out of
moving
you or
song.
something. What else did you have? Touch My Bum, the Cheeky Girls, I bet.
That is "Anything Is Possible" is a very moving, beautiful song.
I had Touch My Bum, the cheeky. I actually led a homeless bloke into the arena, and I said, "Come on, touch my bum for luck," because apparently it's quite lucky if you're such a homeless person. I don't know if you ever tried it.
It's a very moving, beautiful song that meant a lot to... Laura thought it was apt. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Just for me getting
Well, if Laura
married.
chose it, I like it then. If Laura chose it, you're allowed it.
Laura chose it, and I chose that. You know, you have to choose your battles. Not that I don't love the song.
What would you have gone for?
Girls and Boys by Blur.
Well, that would have been a bit sleazy for a wedding.
The thing I regret more than anything else...
It's about being promiscuous in Greece or something. It's awful.
I wouldn't, yeah. The thing I regret more than anything else is not having KFC as our wedding food. Because we had a buffet and it wasn't up
It's
to
good
much.
that you regret that more than anything else. I mean, if you lie on your deathbed and say that, you'll be a very happy man. Yeah. Well, I regret certain things about my own wedding. Mainly. Our first dance was Love Me Tender by
Oh,
Elvis
that's nice.
Presley.
That
Yeah,
is
10
nice.
months later, it was all over. Should have had Love Me for 10 months. I don't think there is a song called that. But no, what we did have, which was marvellous, is that we had 2 DJs. We had a double DJ set up, 2 blokes. Very fat men. Nice, fat. And they had baseball hats on with hands, like felt hands. And when they pulled strings either side of their heads, that the hands clapped on their baseball hats.
That sounds classy.
Well, it was in West Bromwich. And it was, yeah, that was... Anyway, I think is I've read all these reviews of the decade, and they're all things like that, top-selling single, favourite film. People should be a bit more inventive. They should have, weirder stuff. Like, my problem with the decade is I can basically remember back about a fortnight. And I think, well, it's in the decade, it'll do. Like, what would be good? Like, weirdest advert, what would be a good category, for example?
Oh, that's good.
And weirdest advert, for me, have you seen these? They've suddenly appeared on the telly, asking you to put your gold in an envelope. Sending it, that gold you've got in your cupboard. What gold in my cupboard? What are you talking about? Send that in. What, the gold in my... Yes, OK. And we'll send you some money for... Yeah, I bet you will. Right. Yeah.
They send you special gold... special envelopes so everyone knows it's gold.
Special envelope, yeah. And it's called stuff like Your Old Gold. And We'll Have That, one of the companies is called. Oh, We'll Have That. That bloke who found the Anglo-Saxon gold in Scotland, what if he'd just put it into a jiffy bag and thought, I know what to do with this? It's incredibly odd, send our gold. What do you mean? What is it when you send your gold to a company?
I'm not sending my gold, my Tiffany key necklace. He's not getting that.
Yes, Timothy Key is the guest today. By the way, that was a fabulous link. I didn't see that coming at all.
I'll tell you the ad I hate, Frank, is that...
You're right. No, let's get back to this ad. What's the ad you hate?
Tell us an ad.
You know very well what I mean. There's a funny woman singing
I think I heard a mongoose in here. What was that?
Yeah, I don't know what that's for. Yeah, but it's not weird. It's an art... I mean...
That's it.
Send us your gold. Yeah, make any sense.
Absolute Radio.
Now, so what we was thinking for a phone-in is that... a more unusual category for something of the decade, like weirdest advert or worst animal-based TV show, something like that, right? That'd be all right, because I'm sick of hearing about people's favourite film, and I mean, shut up about it. So that's on 8, 12, 15. Just the category. You don't even have to name what it is, but you can name what it is as well. Obviously, then you're joining in even more, which is lovely.
We've had a few nice texts in as well regarding wedding songs. We're talking about Gareth, who had a rather unusual first dance song for his wedding.
What was it
It's
again?
not unusual, it's beautiful. Anything is possible by Will Young.
Okay.
The double A-side with Evergreen.
Do you know, upside down, my mouth looks exactly like Will Young's, I once noticed.
Really?
Yeah. Carry on.
I hope I never have to test that out.
Oh, blimey.
Oh. OK, so Clive Redfern says his pal had the Match of the Day theme tune. Not at his first dance, but as the happy couple turned after their kiss in church and came down the aisle.
That's marvellous. I quite like that.
And we've also had a suggestion, how about David Bowie's Love You Till Tuesday as a first wedding song, Frank?
For me?
Dominic, yeah.
Yes, well...
We can't go back and change what happened.
No, we can't go back and change. Yeah. We have still got David Tennant's mattress in the back room at Absolute. Maybe that's got some time-travelling properties.
Like bed knobs and broomsticks or something.
Yeah.
So did that go in time? It did. How strange.
Can we edit? Oh, no, we're live. So, you may remember, those of you who listen to the show regularly, yes, they exist, don't look at me like that. You may remember that before, actually it was on Boxing Day, Gareth began a story, and we hadn't got time to finish it. So it's the first ever, I think, radio story, which has gone over obviously the serialised shows on Book at Bedtime and stuff like that, but just in a show like this. So it began with a sort of strange tale of, I think it was your grandparents, your cousin, your brother.
So we were at my grandma's house.
Okay.
I was probably, I think I must have been about 11 years old. I've got 2 brothers. We were told if we were naughty one more time, we were not allowed to go and see our cousins before we went home to where we lived.
Okay.
And me and my brother Joel pushed my brother Josh out the tree.
Okay.
So we realised...
you never mentioned the fact you were in a tree. That's quite an important bit of the story. You should have started with that. We're in this tree.
You're some sort of mongoose.
Yeah.
The Richards have always lived in trees.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We pushed Joel out and we realised we'd been naughty. So, me and my brother...
What happened? How high was this?
He didn't... He survived. It wasn't...
Well, that's good news.
It wasn't a very
How
tall tree.
heartening.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you claim he was windfall? When questioned about it?
Well, we didn't wait around to see the consequences. My grandma lives in Slough, and my
Right.
cousins live in Windsor, and me and my brother decided we were going to run away to my cousin's house. And you have to walk along the relief road to get there. Well, you're not supposed to walk there, basically. And so we walked along what's basically the side of a motorway.
Can I just come in to apologise? I'm thinking exactly what you're thinking.
We've got a few more links left. I'll get through it. We walked
So
along-
you're on your way to Slough.
How long is it going to take you to get to Slough?
Well, we have a series of adventures on the way.
Well, let's hold it there, because I think we need to make this a cliffhanger. So just the story so far.
Be quicker
just
to
remember
read
that.
the Odyssey.
Exactly, instead of the oddity, which is what this has become. So Gareth and his brother pushed Joel out of a tree. Was it Joel that fell out the tree?
Yeah.
And he survived.
now
Oh,
they're
no,
off-
Josh out the tree.
Josh out the tree. Now they're off to Slough. That's all you need to know.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
We like to make listeners' dreams come true on this show, don't we?
Speak for yourself.
Okay. Andy in Nottingham has texted as
Who?
Andy from Nottingham.
Oh, okay.
You know. I'd really like to hear Emily's niece review Rage Against the Machine's Christmas #1. Is this possible? Well, anything is possible.
Yeah, apparently, according to your wedding song. Yes. And I don't know if you remember Mimi. She's been on the show a couple of times.
Yeah.
She once reviewed The Fall.
She did. She's
And-
my
and
fabulous niece.
Basically, I banned her after that.
Aw.
I didn't like her remarks. But so how old is Mimi?
She's 8.5.
Okay, so we spoke to Mimi. We got her to
Yeah.
phone in, so that your sister played Mimi the
Yes, Rage Against the
it was
Machine.
Mimi's mum played her
Exactly.
Rage Against the Machine. I'm hoping that she played her the radio friendly version.
I can't guarantee that. I think she would have, though. I think she would.
Yeah, okay.
She's
So
a good
this
mother.
this is Mimi's review of Rage Against the Machine's In the Name of.
Hi, I'm Mimi, and this is what I think about Rage Against the Machine. I did like the song, but there were some things wrong with it. The singer was a bit angry and aggressive and shouty, and I didn't really like that much. And he says the same words over and over again, and it's got to get a bit boring. Well, his voice doesn't sound that clear, and he's more shouting than singing, but I did like the song a bit.
Yes.
Very good. I thought it was a brilliant review.
Yeah, that's-
well
It's a
done,
fair
Mimi.
summary. I wish
Yeah.
she'd gone into the politics a bit more, because I think that's fairly crucial.
I had a mate tell me he got into Rage Against the Machine and said, "Oh, it's amazing. They're really political." And I was like, well, I'm not sure they've got any policies that are going to, they're political, but I don't think they're the way forward.
Also, they're about 64 now, aren't they? How old are these people now?
So it's Mimi seems very. How old is she again?
She's 8.5.
Yeah, she seems very pertinent, very bright.
Oh, she is. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, Frank.
No, I've heard that. I don't know what it means, but I've heard it. Apparently the brother doesn't fall that far from the tree either. Oh,
It
it's
was an
been
apple tree.
By the way, I think I've got something coming on. I don't know if you've noticed today, but I'm a
What?
bit... I don't know if it's... last night it came upon me and I thought, I'm going to have the flu. I'm going to have the swines tomorrow. I feel like I'm living in a strange dream. Those of you who think, oh, he feels a bit weird today, or he sounds weird. Yeah, I'm really odd. Honestly, this is like Yellow Submarine, the cartoon Yellow Submarine.
I know it.
With you two as the blue
Shall I give you a
meanies.
nice back rub in the break?
No.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily and Gareth. It's January the 2nd. Normally, January the 2nd would be that day when it gets back to normal, which I always look forward to over Christmas. I just want it all to stop and just be like a normal life, doing things that are normal again. But because of the weekend, now it's dragged out. It's still bank holiday, it feels like, today.
Yeah, a
For
little
goodness
bit.
sake. I can't stand the stress of the whole thing.
What stress?
Oh, the rows, the fallings. I had 20 minutes into the new year, I had a row.
Did you?
Yeah, with my my girlfriend's brother.
Oh.
No, that's wrong. My girlfriend's sister's. Some bloke who was at the house.
Well, your boyfriend,
I was never
according to what
I
you've
was-
been saying this morning.
I was
How many
never
ex-boyfriends
introduced.
have you got?
Anyway, we had a big row. I mean, oh dear God. My girlfriend, who'd gone to bed at this point, said
Yeah.
to me, "Was everything all right last night? I heard shouting."
Oh, dear.
And I tried to tell her we were staged in a small impromptu Ibsen play. But no. No, we had a big row about, well, it's a bit of a... It was whether or not there's a 13th row on aeroplanes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I said I thought that many aeroplane companies didn't have one because customers didn't want them to sit in the 13th row.
The superstition.
Yeah, I don't know quite what the superstition would be based on. The idea that something could happen to you in that row that wouldn't happen to the other people on the plane. Oh, because I was in this plane crash, but it's probably because I was in the 13th row. Yeah, what about the other people that weren't in the 13th row but were also in the... Anyway... But he said that it was, I'd made it up and it was rubbish. And then I pretended I was looking at some New Year greetings text, but really I was on my iPhone.
You weren't Googling, were you?
I was Googling
13th
you row in aeroplanes. Then I said, well, maybe you'd like to read this. You might find this interesting. Continental Airlines, Air Nippon, Lufthansa, Air Malaysia. And I continued along this, just rattling off. But then it escalated because he said, I didn't say that no airline. And I said, well, no, you did say that because I got you to specify that because I knew I was going to look it up, so I wanted a precise statement that I could tear apart. And then I said, so...
It's like having a row with Rumpole.
Yeah.
Honestly.
There was some Rumpole involved. And then I got... It wasn't a good start to the year. And I said, just admit you were wrong. And he said, OK, I was wrong. I said, now, doesn't that feel better? And he said, no, it doesn't, because I wasn't wrong. And then, of course, then it escalated. It got completely out of hand.
Dear.
I'd already had an argument with my girlfriend just before New Year because she wouldn't hula hoop. My girlfriend's sister
You're so
hula hooped.
demanding.
Yeah, but,
What do you mean with an actual hula hoop?
What do you think with? No,
I thought it might have
wanted
been a
her to hula hoop with a
quiz-based thing.
burning Triumph Toledo.
So why did you want her to hula hoop?
Well, because I have this thing. I see New Year's...
Fetish thing.
When it actually becomes New Year, I see it as a bit like St Swithin's Day. If it rains on St Swithin's Day, it rains for 40 days and 40 nights,
Right.
apparently. Well, I always think if New Year isn't perfect, if that moment of midnightness isn't absolutely perfect, it'll be a terrible year in which horrible
I'm a bit
thing.
with you on that.
So, my girlfriend's sister hula hooped, and we videoed her. She's quite good at it. And then I hula hooped.
That sounds a bit creepy.
Well, no.
Why
it's
did
a
you
lovely-
video her hula hooping? It's
So
weird.
we could celebrate that we'd gone into the new year in high spirits.
Watching a lady hula hooping.
She's
Weird.
not a lady. She's my girlfriend's sister, for goodness sake. So, and then I hula hooped, and I must say I hadn't hula hooped that well over the holiday up until that point. But once the video went on, I hula hooped like there was no tomorrow. That's all I needed was a bit of incentive. But then I said to Kath, come on, we're all hula hooping. What fun we're having. Come on, Grace. She said, oh, no, I feel a bit sick. And I said, well, that's typical of you, isn't it? I asked you to hula hoop, but I feel a bit sick. I feel a bit sick. Why didn't you just hula hoop? And that didn't go that well either.
Absolute
Radio.
So, we are joined by Tim Key. Hello, Tim.
Hello, Frank.
Now, Tim is, I'm going to call you Edinburgh Comedy Award winning comedian. What about that?
Don't mind that.
In fact, I presented Tim with that very award.
Did you?
Oh, was that you?
Yeah, that was me. I remember on the day, actually, you walked straight past me and hugged your mate.
Yeah.
There was two of us. There was two of us presenting the award. He sort of took the award off me. Like, when you see runners in a marathon who grab water from the people at the side? It was like
Yeah, I really needed an award quickly before I hugged David.
I think you did, yeah. And I got nothing, not even a handshake. So
I was
anyway,
just overawed.
right, it's fine. I think you honestly didn't recognise me.
We
Of
get
course I recognise you.
we get people
You
on the
explained who
show.
you were.
We get people on the show to settle scores, Tim.
Yeah.
This is why people come on.
Bank bears grudges. You just need to know.
Do you want me to hug you?
No, you were a very popular winner, Tim, and it brought the house down. I remember. Has it changed your life winning that award?
No, not really.
Really?
Well, it's to be honest, it really. I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, but it really hasn't sunk in. I was thinking about it yesterday, and because it's New Year,
Yeah.
so I was thinking about it, and I still am quite quite staggered by it, really.
Because it is a lot for a British comic. It's a bit like winning an Oscar, isn't it?
It is amazing. It is, yeah. It's really amazing. I don't. Did it change your life? You won it, didn't you?
I think it changed it a bit.
He
No,
was
I
able
did.
to pull a bit more.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, were
able to
you?
pull- Yeah, I used the trophy as a lure.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I won it, so it's a Perrier Award. It used to be, it was like it got more publicity, I think, because of the sponsorship. But this year it got a lot of publicity because it hadn't got any sponsorship.
Yeah, this year it felt like they'd sort of thought quite hard about the publicity side of things.
Yeah, so
like
it-
they had the awards was in the afternoon and stuff, so they could make all the papers and things like that. It was quite a good one to win. I mean,
And
it's not a bad one to win, is there? But
I thought you won the pure version because there was no sponsors involved. It was,
Yeah,
it
I
was
thought that.
untarnished.
I
by
certainly think,
commercialism.
I think it's probably the best award yet, isn't it? The one that I won.
So, yeah, I
Slightly
think
better than
it's
yours.
certainly the best one in that
Yours was so
decade.
commercial.
It was. It was, actually. Yes, I was carried around Edinburgh by Kathy Lloyd, the former Page 3 girl.
I'm surprised you accepted it. I'd have thought you would have declined.
Well, you know, in those days, I needed the help. So anyway, it was a great. So congratulations on that. I didn't get a chance to congratulate you on the day because you
I
ignored
ran
me.
off.
But that's all right. So Tim, you have a book out.
Yep.
Now, I should explain, there might be people listening who don't know your work. God, heaven
There might well
forfend.
be quite a few.
How would you, if you had to, if I was an alien who landed, which I seem to remember,
Big
you
if.
looked at me like I was when I gave you the award.
Have you been sort of? Have you had a quite difficult 4 months since then?
Oh,
just
people
worrying about
keep
it.
saying to me, God, that was terrible what Tim Key did. I said, I think it was an accident, it just played. Oh, it looked like a deliberate snob, yeah. No, so, if someone said, so what do you do, Tim? Because you're not the normal stand-up comic, this is what I'm getting at.
No. I'm not a stand-up comic at all. I don't think. I basically, quite weird actually to win the award because really I sort of do poetry, and I kind of do offbeat, idiosyncratic poems, and then sort of while I'm doing, they're quite poor, and then while I'm doing them, I sort of commentate on them and talk around them and stuff like that. And sometimes that veers slightly into to stand up. You know, I do make the odd wry observation or joke. Just to make sure I definitely won that award.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they want. They don't want
Needed to
too many
clinch it.
jokes. They want the odd one.
Yeah.
But
But no, I don't do like I didn't like you did loads and loads of stand up, didn't you? And then just or was it? How long had you done stand up for before you won it?
I think I did my first gig at the end of '87, and I won the award in '91. So yeah, but I'd been doing the clubs.
Yeah, and I didn't do the clubs at all. Like I basically have just done about 4 clubs over the last 7 years, but done them a lot and done them for no money, and sort of worked out. I've just been working up Edinburgh shows, really.
You're an artist, Tim. That's what you are.
Yeah. No, I'm not an artist. I just was never asked to do a gig where people gave me money.
Okay, fair enough.
But I still quite
That
like.
sounds
I like
an
the idea
artist.
of performing, so I'd sort of go along and do things for no money, and kind of work out. This is my. I went to Edinburgh in 2001, so I've done quite a lot of Edinburgh shows. So but I didn't kind of do the whole circuit and things like that.
Yeah, although I must say, on the day, as I say, when we announced the winner, it got uproar. I sensed you were the favourite in the room. Do you know what I mean? There was love in the room.
Well,
Don't deny it, Tim. There was love.
Oh, I'm not about to deny it.
Okay.
No, the thing about winning it was it was really nice to win it, but that was the most humbling thing was that people were really, really nice about it, and a lot of comedians were, and that's kind of my slight regret about, because you don't like to write a speech for when you win the award, because there's always a chance that you might not win it. So I didn't write a speech.
You can always recycle next time you win something.
Yeah.
Always write a speech, love.
Yeah, I should restart. Yeah, but I just regret not sort of the one thing I meant to do, I think, was to thank like comedians for coming and watching my show, because it's really nice when other comedians come and watch your show and are nice about your show and things, because everyone's sort of just focusing on their stuff.
You could have started by thanking me for handing over the award. That's all right.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Tim Key's our guest this morning. Now, Tim, we mentioned that you have a book out.
Yep,
Tell us a bit about the book.
there it is.
Well, that's not going to work on radio.
Is it not?
No, you're going to have to tell us. You're going to have to describe it. Paint your word pictures, you crazy poet man.
Okay, it's a sort of aubergine-coloured affair.
Oh, well. You can't. One thing you can't judge a book by, I find,
Is the colour?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's got a rubbish cover, but don't worry about that. Inside is Yeah, art basically. It's absolutely ideal. It's sort of I did a book a couple of years ago, which was poetry, and then as it went through, it kind of subsided into kind of nonsense, and the poem sort of became less and less, and it kind of lost its way during the book. And I had like lots of footnotes and sort of discussed this problem. And this one sort of starts where that one left off, so it's already lost its way when you start, and it's kind of just a selection of nonsense ideas, just not even really knitted together properly. But I've got a designer who designs it, makes it look nice, and hopefully that sort of papers over the cracks slightly. And
you should go into sales, Tim. Well, we were reading the book only this morning and laughing out loud.
Oh,
so
good.
I think you've it's much better than Tim suggests it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It is
That's the thing.
chaotic.
It's good. It's chaotic.
Exactly.
Basically, the way it was written was while I was doing other stuff. This was kind of my thing where if you have like deadlines, boring deadlines that you have to meet and stuff like that. This was my one thing where I could just sort of go to the pub just for an hour, have a pint, and just write one thing, and did that over about 18 months.
So you wrote in the pub?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. On a Friday, or a disco. Anyway. Like,
A rave?
yeah. Yeah.
Do you ever have one of those pens with a small torch in the end so
Yeah.
you can write in a rave?
Yeah. So,
No, I'm fascinated. You know these blokes who read in pubs? I don't mean
Yeah.
the newspaper, the blokes who bring a novel into the pub, and I'm always fascinated by
that
them.
might be me. I'm trying to think.
Have you
Yeah.
ever read a novel in a pub?
No, of course
That's
not.
not weird reading in a pub.
Oh, it is. Hence that Morrissey song, Novel in a Pub, I know.
No, I don't think I'm a novel in a pub type person.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that.
But
Tim. You
writing
just
in a
write
pub, I
poetry.
quite like writing in a pub, or writing in a cafe.
Well, A.E. Houseman.
Oh,
A.E. Houseman. That's my A.E. Houseman alarm.
Are you sure you want to talk about A.E. Houseman?
Yeah, whenever we mention him, there's a
Be very careful.
very brief news item, unrelated. Once you've mentioned him the first time on that show, I'll try it again. A.E. Houseman, so it's all right now.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just that first one.
Broken the back of it.
Yeah, it always shakes me up a bit. I forgot I hadn't pressed the.
It sets off all sorts of procedures here. Whenever we say A.E. Houseman,
Yeah.
Oh, don't-
it goes into an emergency code.
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
all saying it now.
But anyway, yeah, it's all right. We've got the first one out the way. Don't worry. He used to, he's this Shropshire poet. He used to go to the pub, and he used to have about 3 or 4 pints, and then on the walk back, he said the stanzas would just drop out of him just
Wow.
from the beer.
Yeah.
So, are you inspired by beer?
No, I'm not inspired by A.E. Houseman. I kind of...
Beer, not A.E. House.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't misunderstand me. I don't sort of go and get hammered and then...
Oh no, I never suggested that for
No.
a second, Tim.
It's just like quite nice sometimes just to have like a nice sort of pint in a pub and write a bit of nonsense.
But do people come over and say, "What are you writing, mate?"
That can happen, yep. I'm honest about it. I'm writing this. Writing a book. There's no
great
shame in it.
No, it's a lovely thing to say.
Absolute.
Radio.
Tim Key is with us. Tim Key has just told us about his book, but he didn't tell us what it was called.
No, I'm going to tell you now.
Go on.
It's called Instructions, Guidelines, Tutelage, Suggestions, Other Suggestions and Examples, etc. An attempted book by Tim Key, and descriptions, conversations, and a piece about a moth.
Okay. I like the fact that you had to read that from the front of the book. You haven't even memorised it yourself.
No, I'm not memorising
Just go in
that.
and say, have you got any books by Tim Key? And
Yeah,
it's the
well, they won't
aubergine
have that.
one.
The best way to do it, actually, is to get it off the internet.
Okay.
It's not one of those books that sort of you can get in a bookshop.
Oh, one of those books. Oh, okay.
Frank's very familiar with those.
Oh, how
it's
dare
fine.
you. Yeah, off the internet. Oh, okay.
Yeah, can I say the website?
Yeah, say the website.
It's
Tim.
called theinvisibledot.com. Or if you just Google the invisible dot, you'll be able
Okay.
to find it.
Well, you do have to put a dot in. The dot's not invisible.
It's really, yeah, I was just having this discussion just now with someone from the Invisible Dot who said, you must make sure you say it quite clearly. So any kind of conversation like this is absolutely ideal for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Whereas for
Invisible.
us-
Yeah. It's not great for your listeners, but he's going to be rubbing his hands with glee.
Well, those listeners that want to find your book will be glad that they've established this on the invisible,
Oh, yeah.
invisible not. Invisible not.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. You can just write invisible not.
Yeah.
Anything. Just write anything, you'll probably find it.
Okay, I think look up Tim Key. That's my advice.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
And also, if they want to see you live, Tim,
It's
you're
the same
around and
website.
about.
They can do that, yeah. I'm doing my Edinburgh show, The Slutcracker, at the Soho Theatre in February.
Right.
February the 9th.
I just look and see if you can say that.
Oh.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
For 2 weeks, in February the 9th, for 2 weeks at the Soho Theatre, and you get the tickets. Maybe there's definitely a link to it on the Invisible Dot.
I will go to that.
Oh, the Invisible Dot this, the Invisible Dot that.
Well,
it's an episode of Treasure Island.
Shall we go to that as a works outing?
Yeah, I love a works outing.
I couldn't get in Edinburgh. I tried
really?
to see you.
Oh God, all the old grudges are coming out. Yeah, and I didn't like that thing you set up now. Now, I noticed from your MySpace list of likes...
Oh, yeah.
...that you like... there's a Ukrainian hula girl that you like.
Oh, yeah.
Now...
He's obsessed by hula hooping.
I've become very obsessed with hula. I think hula hooping
I've become obsessed with it
future.
slightly. In fact, the last thing I did before I came in here, when you were talking about that, is write a note saying, buy a hula hoop. I've been meaning to do that.
Yeah, but Tim, did you shout at your family on New Year's Eve because they wouldn't hula hoop? No.
I didn't shout at my family.
No, but that doesn't... that doesn't come with every hula hoop. That's if you have to cross me with a hula hoop. In fact, if I stand next to a hula hoop, I do look like I'm in a Venn diagram. And that's one of the best things about it. If you have two, you can put your friends into Venn diagrams and various other items that you own and stuff.
Yeah,
well, I'd recommend it.
I'm not ready for two yet.
No.
But this Ukrainian hula girl, she was in a thing called The Clique.
I saw that show, yeah.
Yeah, but they changed the lineups. Did you see it with the girl with the hula hoop?
Well, I've seen a couple of hula hoopers.
It's about 3 years ago.
Okay.
There's another one called Kalki, the hula
Yes,
girl.
I've worked with Kalki.
Yeah, I've worked with Kalki.
Yes.
What did you work with Kalki on?
Well, I do a thing called the Credit Crunch Cabaret, and she was on that.
Oh, I saw her
I
on
did
that,
Yeah, she came and knocked on my dressing room door, I remember, and said...
we don't wish to know the end of this anecdote.
She said, do you know where I'm supposed to get changed? And I thought, well, did you see the star on the door? And I said, no, I have no idea. I did know, but I thought, I'm not going down that road.
She did the book launch for my book.
Did she?
Yeah, it was just me and Basden and her. She did her act. She's excellent. I love her. She's
what,
brilliant.
just the three of you in a room?
Yeah.
Sounds highly irregular.
I just launched my book for her and Tom.
You need plenty of room when you're hula hooping.
That's why I've sold two.
Are you selling hula hoops on the Invisible Dot?
Oh yeah, you get a hula hoop free with every book. You get a hula hoop.
Well, we bought a hula hoop from the supermarket, and it's in a little box like that. I thought, well, how on earth?
Oh.
And it came out in sections.
Is it self-assembly then?
I know, but it's very good. It's only about 15 quid.
From which supermarket? You cannot say.
I don't think I can say what supermarket.
Can you mouth it?
I can. I could if I could remember it. But if I just go, you'll be polite and think you got it.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
But hula hooping, it's the thing for 2010.
I really want to get more into it. I've been meaning to do that.
Yeah, I'm thinking we could do a charity. We could do a sport relief. We got every absolute listener lined up somewhere on Hampstead Heath hula hooping. That'd be brilliant.
Let's do that.
Yeah, okay. You with me on that, Tim?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't want to put you into a corner on air, as it were. So go and see Tim's show at the Soho Theatre starting...
9th of February. 9th
of Feb. Buy his book, which has the longest title ever.
Do you want to say it again?
No, don't say it again. It's Tim Key's book. You'll be able to... You'll track it down. And that's it, Tim. It's been lovely having you on.
It's been lovely to see you. Thanks for having me. Sorry for snubbing you.
Well, I think the wound is healed.
It seems healed. You seem a lot happier about it.
Yeah, I think I started off in... Well,
that's what he does. He'll pretend, but really he'll be moaning about you when you leave.
No, I'm feeling better. My memory of Tim now is this like jovial chap, on the show chatting a bit. Yeah. It's not that chap that just walked past me like I was dirt.
Did I spit on you? I can't remember whether I spat.
I don't think it's not deliberately, no. But you were gushing from virtually every orifice. Tim Key.
Absolute Radio.
Florence and the Machine. Yes. And she's been on a lot over Christmas.
Insert your own montage of the year over this track.
Yes. It's gone the same way as Let Me Entertain You.
More overexposed than David Tennant, who has been very overexposed, I have to say.
Apparently he's been on the BBC 75 times this Christmas, and that doesn't include when he rides the TARDIS pulled by reindeer in that advert.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he was good in Hamlet, though. He was very good. I remember I used to be a teacher at one time. I mean, not a proper qualified teacher, but I used to just turn up at people's houses. Now, I used to teach at the College of FE, and I was teaching Hamlet for A-level English. And
I bet you've been quite a good teacher.
Thanks. And I got involved in a car accident. I basically pulled out in front of somebody, and we had a car crash. And it became apparent that he wasn't insured, this bloke. But I remember I said, look, I couldn't help it. I only pulled out a little bit. You sort of swerved. He's not in the swerve. You pulled out right in front of me. And his wife, who was sitting in the car, wound down the window. She said, he's right. you did pull out in front of him. And I'd just been teaching Hamlet, and I said, how all occasions do inform against me. And he said, look, there's no need to inform anybody. It's a very strange, mixed-up Shakespeare and normal conversation experience. Anyway, so that's what happened.
Can I read out a text, which I think shows me in a very good light that I'm prepared to read this text out?
Okay.
Really enjoy your eclectic playlist, Frank. Believe it or not...
eclectic.
Believe it or not, grumbling Emily, people tune into Absolute to not have to listen to the usual mainstream garbage, and I'm now a Fall fan thanks to this show. Postman Paul, Belfast.
That is the best. What a start to the... That makes me so happy. Another Fall fan. I think if you could make a new Fall fan every day,
Yeah.
you would turn this country into a much, much better place.
Well, there you go, Postman Paul. I'm sorry. I was wrong.
Yeah. Oh, that's very good.
Not often I say that.
No. In fact, can we get me that as a jingle? Now, as you know, we started Garrett's endless story of his childhood recently.
Oh,
we're going to make
trees. There were.
Yeah, we're going to make that we're going to do a bit every week. I think it's going to be like the Mousetrap.
Where is he now? Are you in Slough? Just so I know.
No, we're on the way. We're still on. No, we're going to Windsor from.
Oh, Windsor.
Slough.
Oh God.
Oh, Windsor. That's a bit nicer.
So he's pushed his brother out of a tree, and now he's on his way to Windsor with his surviving brother.
If you get yourself an A to Z of the Windsor Slough area, you can follow our route on the map.
I think they'll put a map on the
tell the
Absolute
story? Okay,
website
that'd be
with the tree. You know,
It'll be like Lord of the Rings. Comes
yeah,
with maps.
exactly.
It'd be
Yeah,
like Lord of the Flies.
yeah. Taz with children being pushed out of trees.
Yeah.
That's absolutely dreadful. What about this? I'm drawing the 4th round of the FA Cup.
You're
tomorrow.
not.
I am.
Do you get to hold the silky bag?
I get to hold the silky bag and don't say a thing. Gareth. Yes, I get to pull the balls out.
Where is it?
Gareth, I'm telling you.
Can I come and watch you with the silky
You
bag?
can't come and watch me. It's for boys. Yes, me and Paul Elliott we're gonna draw
I'm coming
the
to
4th
watch
round
it.
of the FA. I mean, that means every time I take a ball out of that bag, that'll mean that people will have to travel from Portsmouth to Sunderland. They'll have to book babysitters, hire cars, get their coach tickets. Footballers will have to be driven to stay at certain hotels just because of the ball I pulled out the bag. At last, I'm running the world. Okay, so look, it's been a lovely show. It's been an odd show. To be honest, I'll be absolutely straight. I think I'm funnier at 8 o'clock than I am
Why
at
do
10.
you say that? Put a downer on it when we've had a really nice time. By the way, whatever you're wearing tomorrow for the draw, don't wear that.
Thanks very much. I'm just going to wear a very large velvet bag. I think that would be sort of in-fitting, isn't it? And what I put in it will be my business.
Absolute
Radio.
So that was the show, and it was actually much, much better than I thought. It was, in fact, it was brilliant. So that's great. And now we've got our special bonus bit, and this is can I set up new readers start here bit?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The story so far.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've just heard this in the podcast, but just in very brief terms, Gareth and his 2 brothers in a tree when they were children. Gareth and his brother Joel push the other brother.
Josh, no, me and... Oh, yes, no, that is right.
Oh, God.
Oh, I've ruined it already.
Yes. 2 of the brothers, including Gareth, push the other brother out the tree. When they realise their terrible crime, they run away, walking over his still simpering body, and head towards Windsor.
There's somewhere near Slough, possibly an industrial estate, I don't know, but
Yes.
that's the
And
location.
Windsor is your grand's house, yeah?
Yes, no, cousin's house in Windsor.
No, that's the Queen. That's the Gran who's got a house at Windsor.
Oh, yeah, of course, I forgot that.
My gran lived in Slough. Yeah, you're always close to an industrial estate.
Okay, so
Slough.
as you join us, Gareth and his brother are running down a dirt track. Behind them is the fallen brother calling for help. Ahead of them, the cousin's house.
Well, the really big problem with this journey was that you have to walk along the relief road, which is quite a busy road. It's basically like a motorway where there isn't a path. You're not supposed to walk along. So it was 2 young boys walking along the side of a very busy road. I'm surprised nobody called the police or something.
Well, maybe they did. And the police said, oh, sorry, we're dealing with this kid's fell out of a tree. You know? I mean, We're in Slough. We don't have those kind of resources. Let them walk.
And it was one of those things where it seemed like such a good idea, but I guess it
A
started
bit like high-rise housing.
yeah, that sort of thing. Where it dawns on me that, is there a happy ending to this story? Because my parents are going to get worried. When I arrive at my cousin's house, it's probably not going to be the welcome I'm expecting. We're not going to be held as heroes. And I was the older brother as well. So basically when we got there, we were met by shock and confusion.
I mean, personally, I'll be happy if there's an ending of any kind.
Where are we now? On the central reservation somewhere?
Well,
we've arrived at the cousins now.
Where
in
do
Windsor.
the cousins
skip
live?
ahead. They live in Windsor.
Nice house?
We've got to symbolise
it's all
Windsor.
right.
This is a radio play. You'd symbolise Windsor in some way, would you? Oh, Sid! There you go.
It's pie.
Nice house? How many bedrooms?
I think it was a 3-bedroom house.
Nice, done well for themselves?
Yeah. They moved somewhere nice.
So you arrived,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
and someone found a head. The other brother was
think-
lying at the trunk.
I can't remember if they'd phoned ahead or if they were just surprised, didn't know where we were going. But my mum and dad were very worried. I was the older brother, so I was responsible, and I'd led Joel astray.
Yeah.
I got into the majority of the trouble. I think it's the naughtiest thing I've ever done.
Really?
I think that was it.
And the fallen brother, did he break anything, or...?
He was in physio for some years. No, he was fine.
Some children
I
found
reckon.
him and they put a string through him and hit some other fallen children.
Sir Isaac Newton
He
formed
fell on
some
Sir Isaac
theories
Newton. Oh, that's
around what had happened.
Well, there you go, every cloud.
What do you think your most naughty ever moment?
Can I just
would have
establish,
been?
is the anecdote over?
Yeah, that's it.
I wish I had some music to hand, but I can't. What about... That'd do it. Yeah, that's the naughtiest thing you ever did, was push your brother out of a tree.
I
It's
reckon.
not very like you. You seem a gentle person.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't so much the pushing the brother out of the tree. No one cared about that, really.
Oh.
It was the straw that broke the camel's back of a bigger naughtiness. But the taking my younger brother along the side of a very busy road.
And how old was
It's
the
a
younger
long way.
brother?
It's probably a couple of miles. I reckon I was about 10. Joel was probably 7 or 8,
Oh, okay.
9 maybe.
Yeah, you overstepped the mark. I don't think there's any question about that. What I did is I had the next door neighbour's daughter, who was about 4.
Oh, I don't like the sound of this.
Was it's not what you think. She was standing. We used to have these what we used to call palings, which was like, they're sort of sticks joined by wire that makes a fence. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Absolutely not. We never had anything of
Who
the
used to
sort.
be in Monty Python? Sticks joined by wire. Who used to be in Monty Python? That's
Anyway,
what-
it was a council house, so we had this fence in between the houses, in between the gardens, and this girl from next door stood on the fence, and I was about 5,
Yeah.
and I said, "Get off the fence." And she said, "No, it's our fence as well." I said, "No, it's our fence." And she said, "No, because it's both our gardens." So I picked up what we used to call a half-ender, which is an enormous brick, and I stood about 3 feet away from her and threw it at her face.
Frank?
And there was a terrible explosion of blood, and she fell off the fence, started screaming. I started screaming in a terrible panic. And... boy, did I get into trouble. And I thought I could have killed her. And had I have killed her when I was 5, that would have changed. I don't know if Absolute would employ me now if I'd killed someone when I was 5.
I think that goes beyond naughty. I think that's borderline.
Good day to you all.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.